We're live right now. This is the Vegan Anarchist. And
This is Uncle Rumblings.
Killer Dog couldn't make it, and neither can Peter Anarcho Blonde. But I left both of your channels in the link description below. So basically, have you heard about in Africa 50 million people are going to starve because of climate change?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stories about people starving because of climate change. I mean, people always point to rising sea levels as the end-all be-all of global warming and climate change and all that, but it really isn't. There are a lot of other problems caused by climate change, like extreme weather patterns, famines, longer, drier seasons, and all sorts of things.
Yeah. We're in a new geological epoch called the Anthropocene, or I think I'm butchering the name. You ever heard of that one?
No.
It's basically this new geological age where man basically is impacting the environment. Anthro means mankind.
What was the name again?
It's Anthropocene.
Okay, it does sound like that from the name. I mean, we're saying we're going through an extinction event called the hominid, something like that.
Yeah.
It was actually caused by humans, apparently.
Oh yeah, we are doing that.
The last major extinction event killed off the dinosaurs, and we're said to be going through another one right now. Don't know if it's true or not, but I really wouldn't be surprised saying how many poachers are around and other animals which have gone dead, like the dodo and many others.
I think that people who are pro-capitalist cannot be vegan because capitalism is causing a mass extinction right now, and that doesn't sound very vegan.
Definitely not. But then again, vegan basically just means what your diet is, really.
Well,
but you support capitalism, then I don't know, it's debatable, I think.
Well, the diet is called plant-based, but veganism, to me, is more of an ethics that happens to become a diet.
Yeah, I can see that. Fair enough.
Yeah. And then there's vegetarian, and if you just eat vegan, you're just a strict vegetarian. If you just wear fur and leather but eat vegan, you're a vegetarian. According to that book, at the Animal Liberation Social Revolution, that's how he defines it.
Makes sense, I guess.
So, what can we do as a civilization or anarchists to keep climate change from destroying us all?
Well, climate change is an issue that needs to be tackled right away. And I ain't even kidding there. If we let it manifest any longer, we're going to risk a lot of deaths from people living on coastlines and a lot of other deaths from widespread famine and drought and all that. It's terrible. You don't want any of that, so you have to tackle climate change right away. And you're talking about linking civilization into this, right?
And animal agriculture, because that's like one of the leading causes of greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah, the same cow farts is one of the biggest contributors or something. A lot of methane, and methane's much more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide ever will be.
Yeah. And another thing is that if we just restore the rainforests and the prairies within a few decades, the greenhouse gas will be back to normal.
Debatable, I guess. I mean, we can't guarantee anything about that, but you can help it a bit, that's for sure.
Another solution I found is carbon farming. I'm just gonna have to look it up because right now, but carbon farming is basically is a way of like gardening where you get as much carbon as possible trapped in the soil.
Right.
So yeah, and there's like a bunch of articles on it. Any agriculture production that uses sunshine to get carbon from the air into the soil.
Makes sense, I guess.
because plants use a lot of CO2 and make it O2 out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do. Photosynthesis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I hope we're not too late, because I was considering accelerationism, but given our dire strait, I think that's just going to be a bad idea.
No, I'm against it. Accelerationism. That's the idea of picking the worst possible candidate, so people become riled up much quicker. That's the idea of accelerationism, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So basically, if, for example, we support Trump, and we all know Trump's a bit of a nutcase. We don't know what he could do. He could do a lot of bad things, right? He don't seem to know how markets work or anything. He's gone bankrupt like 5 times I'm aware of. Well, his companies have anyway. But yeah, accelerationism I'm against, because you never know how it's going to go. It could end up with him just coming behind some populist leader. Hitler. Remember that?
Yeah, that's a good argument against accelerationism. Hitler.
Hitler, yeah. It's as simple as the argument goes. I'm against accelerationism because Hitler.
Well, what are some effective ways? Should we support like Earth First or what?
I don't know much about Earth First. What do they do?
They're like an environmental organization, a radical environmentalist. The reason I heard about it is because one of my anarchist friends support it. And
Okay.
and you do a lot of direct action.
I mean, if we're talking about direct action in ecologist circles, what?
Yeah.
Ecologists, that's not the word I'm looking for. Environmentalists, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you advocate for eco-terrorism? That's the easiest term to describe some things.
Well, that's kind of weird because eco-terrorism, aren't oil companies and fossil fuel companies eco-terrorists?
Well, technically, I guess they are. I mean,
I
they're doing
mean,
harm for political gain, aren't they? So it's debatable. There might be terrorists.
and another problem with the word terrorist is like saving a bunch of animals from a farm, from like being experimented on, is equal to 9/11
Yeah, yeah. Well, then again,
or
that's
ISIS.
a very glorified example of a terrorist attack, isn't it?
Or like, for example, the ALF equals ISIS because they're both terrorists. Like,
No, ALF ain't terrorists. You're on about the ARM, which is an offshoot of the ALF, who actually does use violence against us.
yeah, they do, but the FBI still classify the ALF as a terrorist group, as far as I know.
Oh, they're definitely not terrorist groups. They don't try and harm people for political gain. They just use direct action, and well, they will smash a bit of property if it's.
That's why they're called terrorism, is because property.
Yeah. Property damage is not really terrorism, in my opinion. It has to be harm to people to be terrorism, I think.
Well, there is a difference between smashing a window versus, hitting someone in the head and getting the person dying.
I mean, there's a problem going on near me, like up north in one of the areas of my county, because I'm in England. Remember, we have counties instead of states. There's a fracking operation going on up there, and fracking's a terrible thing. Really bad. I mean, it can pollute groundwater. It can cause earthquakes where there was no earthquakes before, because you very rarely get earthquakes in England. Very rare. And when you get them, they're like, what, Richter scale 3? You can barely even feel them. I don't even think I've felt an earthquake in my life. I don't know about you, though.
I haven't either. In Oklahoma, they start fracking and earthquakes start happening all the time now.
Wow.
Like, it went from almost no earthquakes to like earthquakes every so often. There'll be an earthquake.
Are these big earthquakes? Can you feel them?
I think some of them will be like a 6, no, not a 6, probably like a 4 or 5-ish at most.
All right. I can barely feel them. Probably get freeze over here.
But there are some properties that are at risk for the whole earthquakes thing. It could basically like snap a few gas lines and then there'll be like a huge fire or something like that.
Oh, is that like what happened in California, was it? Like there was a big fire, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a big methane leak.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to refer to. I don't understand what happened there, but it wasn't good.
All I know is there's a lot of methane released in the environment because of that.
Wow. Yeah. That's very good for the planet, isn't it? All that methane, rivaling the amount cows fart out. Great.
Oh, my mom's here. I'm gonna have to open the garage door. Just talk. Make a monologue.
All right then.
All right.
Okay. So he's gone for a while, and well, what am I going to talk about right now? I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I just have to open the garage door for my mom. So.
What I should talk about? Because I've got no idea. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're talking about climate change.
Oh, all right, climate change, right? How long will you be there?
How long will it be there?
How long will you be helping? So, how long will you be before you come back?
I'm already back.
Oh, was it really that quick?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, never mind that then, I guess.
Mhm.
So,
What do you think about insurrectionary anarchism?
we've been through this before, haven't we? I'd say
Yeah.
slightly more of a syndicalist than an insurrectionist, but you know, both of these are very useful tactics, in my opinion. I mean, insurrectionism should be, you know, slightly more organized than basically a bunch of punks throwing bricks at cops and stuff. That's pretty useless. I mean, you've got to have more of an organization than just a few rebels wearing bandanas and having spiked mohawks and shit. You got to have more.
Well, they usually supposed to do affinity groups.
Yeah, okay.
And I think Crime Think has like an article on how to do affinity groups, or like a few. It tells you in some parts of Crime Think how to do affinity groups, which is basically like a small group of people, and you can organize your other small groups of people and take on specific tasks. So one group may do the cop watch, the other group may actually do their actual direct action, for example.
Right.
There's also the abolition of work.
Huh.
You ever heard about that one?
No, I've never heard that one.
There's this book, I think, by Bob Black called The Abolition of Work.
Interesting.
Well, basically, he thinks that people shouldn't have to work needlessly to earn a living, because that's
Yeah,
like a form of slavery.
yeah, I think we all agree with that, don't we? That most jobs people do are absolutely pointless. We don't need to do these jobs. I mean, as far as I know, if you got rid of capitalism, we'd all be working pretty short hours. I'm not sure how long exactly, but it'd be a fraction of what we work right now.
Probably like 4 hours.
Like 4 hours. Is it about
About like 4 to 6 hours, I would say, given all the technology we have in automation.
I mean, you could automate the most boring, tedious jobs that no one would want to do, and the hardest to make approachable by people, because you know people like to work. They just don't like to work in the situations that we have right now. Capitalist workplaces are dull. They're depressing. They're boring. They're just demoralizing. No one wants to work in them.
Hey, you want to hear a good example of capitalist freedom? In Walmart, they only let you have a spectrum of blue as the dress code.
Wow.
Freedom, man, cows, freedom.
Freedom, you got to pick your shade of blue. Yay.
That's a fail. This is good news. We don't have to take them seriously.
Nah, I guess not. You know, they're wearing blue right now.
We do have to take the alt-right seriously, though.
Do we?
Because a lot of them have neo-fascist tendencies and they support Donald Trump.
No, anyone supports Trump is beyond stupidity, to be honest. I really think that, like, I don't understand how anyone can take Trump seriously.
Well, a lot of people, from what I've heard, just want to vote for him because they just want to burn the system to the ground.
Okay. Once you want to burn the system to the ground, join us. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. We've been doing that in Greece, man. And then there's mutualism, but mutualism, I think mutualism is probably like is the OG of anarchism, but it's probably like grandpa who's too old to do anything.
I'm interested in mutualism, but I just don't know much about it. I mean, I met this mutualist online. I forgot his name, but he's got like an anarchy ball type symbol as his profile image, except it's mutualist. It's orange and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot what his name is, and
Well,
we were talking a bit about this, but I just want to learn more about mutualism.
well, actually, you can get a bunch of free books from like the Center for a Stateless Society. One of them is from a few of them are like from Kevin Carson, and you can download them for free.
All right.
And also, I think they also have audiobooks at C4SS.
All right.
Because they don't believe in copyright, so they often, let anybody copy their books.
Also, they believe in copyleft instead.
They don't believe in intellectual property.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. I mean, copyleft's an interesting idea. I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of a right. Fuck you to the face of copyright. It's funny because copyright used to be for promoting more original art by making sure that people don't produce crappy replicas of products. But it just ended up being co-opted by the rich and the corporations and just became as a way just to sue to get more money. I've seen people get sued for making their own original art on YouTube, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I really have. I'm not even kidding.
And there's Stefan Molyneux abusing copyrights.
Don't remind me. True Shives, that's the name. I remember it now.
Stefan Molyneux?
I didn't fight DMCA claims against True Shives.
Who's True Shives?
Oh, it's just some woman that Stefan Molyneux. You know, I'll put it in
okay.
I'll put the link to the video where Anarcho-Pack rips him a new one if you want. Shall I get it?
Yeah, it's okay. You can play it though. Be cool.
No, just a minute. I can get it real quick. I'll just get it up now. Why not? Most popular. Here it is. I'll just put it in now, alright?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in the comments here. There you go.
It'd be awesome we had the other two people here, like Kill a Dog. And Calm Ramblings, you're here. Peter, the blonde guy.
There we go. So I had a brain fart there.
Well, there's also post-left anarchism.
I don't understand that very well.
I've looked into it, but it just seems like a bunch of edgelords.
Does it?
Often, yeah.
What's some of the things they advocate? I'll have to have a look at that.
One of them is the abolition of work. That's a common one, but even ANCOMs often, like Red and Black, advocate for abolishing work.
Oh, yeah.
Post-left anarchy. Basically, they're anarchists who want to break from the left. The only problem is that John Zerzan likes him a lot, and he's an anarcho-primitivist too.
Oh, right.
And they reject all leftist social organizations.
Wow. Proof they're idiots. Speaking of primitivist scum, ever heard of a guy called Ted Kaczynski?
No. Oh, that Unabomber.
Unabomber, yeah, that's the name.
He's one of the few anarchist terrorists in the late few decades.
He's a primitivist.
Yeah. So they have like a thought and critique of organization, and then you have a critique of ideology, the critique of morality, critique of identity politics, the refusal of work. daily life, creation situations, and then they often criticize syndicalists.
Oh wow.
They really don't like syndicalists.
I think syndicalism is a very useful strategy, I think. But there's a chance it could get co-opted by these fake trade unions like Unite or whatever else there is. You know, these trade unions which, you know, they say they're trade unions, they say they're here to help the workers, but really they're just
Yeah,
really.
they get their own bottom lines.
These days where it'll be least effective. Perfect.
And also, a lot of trade work unions are actually discipline the workplace for the capitalists. So they end up doing their jobs.
I won't be surprised. We're talking like Unite here. That's one of the biggest trade unions in the UK. It's not really a trade union though. It's just one of these fake things. It's not like the Industrial Workers of the World, which is a real union of workers, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's one of the quotes is the anarcho-syndicalists may talk of abolishing the state, but they will have to reproduce every one of its functions to guarantee a smooth running society. Anarcho-syndicalism does not make a radical break with the present society. It merely seeks to extend the society's values so they dominate us more fully in our daily lives. The bourgeois liberal is content to get rid of priests and kings, and the anarcho-syndicalist throws in presidents and bosses, but the factories remain intact. The stores remain intact. Though just anarcho-syndicalists may call them distribution center, the family remains intact. The entire social system remains intact. If our daily activity are not significantly changed, and the anarcho-syndicalists gave no indication of to change beyond adding a burden of managing the factories to the working and men, then what's the difference between what difference does it make to have no bosses? We're still slaves.
Well, that's probably the most edgy thing I've heard ever. Like,
And
that's some
then
grade A shit there.
and then here's another one from Crime Think. It's from their essay called "Your Politics Are Boring as Fuck." That's a literal title. Why has the oppressed proletariat not come to its senses and join you in your fight for world liberation? Because they know that your antiquated styles of protest, your marches, handheld signs, and gatherings are now powerless to affect real change because they have become predictable part of the status quo. They know that your post-Marxist jargon is off-putting because it's a language of mere academic dispute, not a weapon capable of undermining systems of control.
I guess that's not as edgy. I mean, there's parts of that which do make sense, I guess, but, you know, still it's a bit off.
And they love Max Stirner a lot and post-leftism.
Which is weird, because, you know, post-leftism. I don't know, to me that means lefter than left, but maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
Well, I don't think they even do anything though. Like, what do they do? Say some insurrections.
I don't know, not a lot. They're just these edgy. It's just the edgy teenager who hates his parents. That's what that is.
Well, Bookchin accused them of being lifestyleists. That's often what he meant by lifestyleists.
Right, lifestyle anarchist. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
And then there's post-anarchism, which is basically anarchism combined with postmodernism and post-structuralism.
Okay, then.
Which I don't understand at all. I tried reading it, but the language is like, what the hell they're saying?
Because it's postmodern, it's just going to be complete bollocks. It's just going to be complete stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. Because, you know, postmodernism.
There's post-colonial anarchism.
Now, what's that?
Was basically a form of anarchism that attempts to bring this different tendencies and aspects within the anarchist movement and try to re-envision them in an anti-imperialist framework. So, like, basically, you try to get anarchism and have it based on based on like let's say a Black liberation framework or a Chicano liberation or things like that.
I don't know, that just went way over my head. I'm sorry.
For example, various types includes Black anarchism, also called Panther, Chicano anarchism,
I know where you're going with this now.
Celtic anarchism, and African anarchism.
Right. So black anarchism, has that got to do with liberation of black people? I'm just going to guess by the name. Might be wrong.
Yeah.
It's like queer anarchism, which is based on getting the gays out of oppression, and anarcho-feminism, which is based on getting women out of oppression, and so on.
Basically, yeah. It basically opposes the existence of the state and the subjugation of people of color. And they also criticize the Black Panther for being for having too much hierarchies. And they also criticize the anarchist movement for being too Eurocentric.
Okay, it makes sense to me now that.
You know, I have Irish ancestry and I'm half Mexican, so that means I can be a Celtic and a Chicano anarchist.
I don't even know where my family goes back. I don't like. We've been in this country for I don't know how long now. I know I might have a couple from Scotland, but that's as far as it goes, and that's still in the UK.
I have family from all sorts of different places in Europe.
I mean, then again, my name's Scottish. I've got a Scottish name.
My last name is Spanish.
Oh, really?
Martinez.
Well, I've both my first and last name are Scottish.
My first name. Oh, it did it again. My first name is Jewish. Samuel.
Oh, right. All right.
Because it has Hebrew origins.
Ready for my first name?
What?
Callum.
Callum.
Yeah, I believe it means bold dove, and it's got like a Scottish background to it, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how do you think anarchism is being able to deal with the challenges of fascism?
Well, fascism it's got this appeal to it for some people, and fascism. I mean, they try and make it all this appealing, populist rhetoric goes a lot with it. And you get massive cults of people following Hitler and Mussolini and all the other fascist scumbags out there. And Trump, that's a pretty recent one.
Have you ever heard? Oh.
And you know how fascism, we have to counter this somehow because, we don't want too many people lining up behind people who are just going to slaughter people, do we? We don't want that at all. We want to get people to actually, know what they're doing, be aware of their surroundings instead of falling for the same sheepish crap they hear constantly on the news or whatever.
The fascists are also nowadays trying to recruit anarchism because they found out some of the books that anarchists or about anarchism are actually written by fascists, and they're just basically pretending not to be fascists, but they got caught for being fascists.
Damn.
So there's actually literally been fascists be caught trying to recruit anarchism into fascism.
All right.
And they invented national anarchism. I'm serious.
I'm a proud anarcho-fascist.
And then there is National Bolshevism.
Oh, for God.
I mean, look, it's within the third position umbrella.
Like just people making up political terms now. They don't even mean anything.
So third position is basically neo-fascism that borrows stuff from like the other end of the political spectrum, like for example, they will borrow some like socialism from like the left, or like sometimes often they will support like racial segregation and preservation of cultural differences, and then they sprinkle in some like radical left views, and they're like present themselves beyond left and right.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Here's the different schools. There is and national anarchism. There's even national syndicalism, Strasserism,
Oh, Jesus.
national Bolshevism.
Are they even trying?
Yeah, I'm serious. And
Wow.
and I read about it and the anti.
Reddit or something. Anarcho-nationalism. Seriously.
Yeah, so yeah, do you see the problem we're facing? Is they're trying to co-opt the anarchist movement?
Yeah, that's kind of shitty, to be honest. Are they actually succeeding, though? I think most anarchists will just laugh at these.
Well, from what I've heard, there was an anarchist group meeting, and they were banned from the anarchist meetings.
Why?
National anarchism were banned.
Well, okay, that makes sense. Because they're not fucking anarchists. They're banned.
Yeah, they're basically anarchists who are like basically want white people to be separate from blacks and Mexicans to preserve our culture. So it's basically, I don't even think they're real anarchists.
It's like monarchists, you know. Like, they think males are oppressed. It's like these anarcho-nationalists, or whatever the fuck they're called, think the whites are oppressed. It's like the same way there. They're just the monarchists of race. That's what it is.
Yeah. So maybe we should stop making our politics boring as fuck, and we need to be unpredictable as anarchists.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I never thought politics was boring as fuck. I like laughing at the douchebags that, you know, pretend to be for one position when they're clearly not. It's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah. You never heard of Strasserism?
Strasserism, I think I've heard of it. Wasn't it like another party in Nazi Germany or something?
It was. It's basically a strain of Nazism that was called for, like, it's more of a worker base, more radical mass action base of National Socialism.
I know what it is.
They don't like Jews, but not from like a racial, ethnic, or religious perspective, but from an anti-capitalist basis. And they try to achieve national rebirth. But what happened is that the Gregor Strasser was killed during the Night of Long Knives.
Right.
But it still was certain neo-Nazis actually have Strasser-like tendencies.
Well, yeah, you got Strasser. I mean, the Strasserite faction of, I think it was represented by, you know how the Nazi one is clockwise. The Strasser one, I believe, is anti-clockwise, if I'm not mistaken.
At the Lebedoggen. And
all right,
just talking a monologue and then.
I'm not very good at talking in the monologue, though. Oh man, well. I think you should learn this. I'm just not very good at it, alright? I'm just not. I mean, I need someone else to bounce words off. I can't just talk to someone without knowing what the hell to say for a while. That's for sure. You know what? I'm gonna have a look, see if we've got any comments on the video so far. I'm just curious, because I guess that'll burn some time. So just give me a minute. I'll get it up. And here we go. Let's have a look.
What were you talking about?
And Anarchist Brothel says he can't do live apparently.
Why?
Which sucks.
Why can't?
Oh, I just looked at the comment section.
The comment section?
Yeah, you know, I just went on the live video on YouTube. So just if there was any comments, and the only comment was Anarcho Blonde, hi, can't do live. Well, that's a shame, I guess. Nor can kill a dog, sadly. So I guess it's just going to be me and you for now, vegan.
Yeah.
Which is, but whatever. That's just the luck of the draw, I guess. So, any other topics you want to get into?
Yeah. How do you deal with people who will pretend to be intellectuals, but they strawman the hell out of me?
I laugh at them. I laugh at them and I say they're not intellectual, because no intellectual would We'll just throw 10 billion straw men and red herrings and guilt by association and all the other fucking fallacies. They would look at your points and they say, well, this is bullshit for ABC. This is bullshit for DCE or whatever.
Yeah, because I made a video why vegans basically about capitalism. Because of capitalism, veganism can't end world hunger. And you also have to abolish capitalism and animal agriculture. But he kind of like showed like examples of how the Soviet Union had like famines. I'm like, I'm not advocating for Leninism. I'm advocating for libertarian socialism and anarcho-communism. He never even mentioned Spain, anarchist Spain.
So people will just randomly bring up Soviet Russia and Cuba and Venezuela when you say, well, I am a libertarian socialist and this is why. So say, and I advocate for communism, and then say, no, you shouldn't advocate for that because look at Venezuela. Look how they are now. They can barely get toilet paper, to quote Paul Joseph Watson, the bloody pseudo-intellectual himself, because he's a pseudo-intellectual 101, isn't he?
And then he's calling anti-capitalists lazy, and then he often attacks the anti-capitalist intelligentsia and like who work in college, the academic anti-capitalists.
I mean, there's so much pseudo-intellectualism on the right, as far as I know. Just so much.
And then he tells people that basically you should trust bourgeois democracy and that you should go to City Hall if you have a problem and not do direct action.
That's a great idea. Change the system from within. Thanks for being an intellectual person, you fucking wanker.
Yeah, he is.
Thank you for that.
And he used the seatbelt example and the cigarette example as proof that democracy works.
What?
Basically, cigarettes and seatbelts.
Cigarettes and seatbelts. What? How are they proof democracy works exactly?
Because they use the government and the car manufacturers try to fight against seatbelts, but they still got through. But then the problem is there's only like a minority of people who have lawyers, and lawyers working pro bono, so they tend to be like the wealthier people fighting for seatbelts.
Oh yeah, I know. And when we're talking about cigarettes, we're talking about like the warning labels on them or something.
Yeah, and the age restrictions.
Yeah, I guess that's something, right? I mean, they've got to be reasonable. I mean, cigarettes are terrible for your lungs. You shouldn't smoke them. I've never smoked in my life. I'm not gonna. That's one thing I'm gonna do for my life is never pick up a pissing cigarette. Because I know what it does to you, because I've got a family of smokers.
I'd rather smoke a blunt.
Have you?
No, I haven't.
All right.
I smoke in a real cigarette, but only like a few times, and then I kind of don't want to do it anymore because I felt like my lungs kind of got a little congested. So I figured that that's a warning sign.
Well, that's the tar for you. It's good that you didn't get addicted because they say it's pretty easy to get addicted to them.
Yeah, I probably only do like once every other week at the time, and then I just stopped doing them.
All right.
And some people get hooked, man.
Yeah, I've seen it pretty badly. I mean, I've got here's the thing here. One side of my family's full of smokers. The other side is just about completely dry from it. Like, they haven't really touched cigarettes in their life. I mean, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I've got an interesting family. I mean, especially on my dad's side, because my granddad seems to be very intellectual on topics. Like, we love to throw things off each other, you know, talk about the things that affect us in everyday life, and he'll point to different things. He knows he's the one who kind of got me started on being an anarchist. I think he was the one who actually triggered it. I mean, I never mentioned that in my how I became an anarchist video. I forgot about it completely. And I was on about yeah, that's sad I forgot that, but I mean, it was more that really that well, he was this person. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be completely there, you know. Like my granddad, he says things quite similar to Noam Chomsky. He's kind of a lesser version of Noam Chomsky, almost, I'd say. They're also the same age, believe it or not, so, yeah. Which is pretty interesting. And he said that, and the problem is he is a bit too much of a statist. I ain't going to kid that, but like he
Yeah.
continues to say that war is, you're not fighting for your country, you're just fighting for the bankers.
Mhm.
You just fight for the bankers and that. And then I just pushed that further. Like I just went above and beyond my granddad and just went even further into the left and talked about war's just for filling the wallets of the private industry when they want oil and stuff, right? That's pretty simple, I think. I mean,
So if that wanker is right, why hasn't social democracy gotten rid of capitalism yet?
because social democracy doesn't want to get rid of capitalism. That's why. Social democracy is probably the leftist form of capitalism you can get. It's still capitalism, but it's capitalism with a big welfare state and quite a lot of.
Because when from what I've heard, when they first got out, when they first became the first social democrats were actually very radical, but over time they got watered down.
Oh, what about?
Basically over time the social democrats are actually watered down to what one we got, but back in the old days some of them actually want to get rid of capitalism.
Yeah, sure.
But
social democrats were more democratic socialists in that regard, I'd say. I mean, a social democrat is not against capitalism. Take Bernie, for example. He's not against capitalism. Like, he'll say stuff like he wants a mixture of capitalism and socialism. Not that he knows what socialism means, but he'll just use it in the typical term that most people think it means right now, which is state programs, welfare, all that shit, which it doesn't mean that. It means workers' control over the means of production. And then you've got others like, I'm kind of questionable on Jeremy Corbyn if he actually wants to get rid of capitalism or not, because I've heard people say he is. He's definitely more left than Bernie Sanders is, that's for sure. But I'm still questionable if he actually wants to get rid of capitalism or not. I don't think he does, but you never know. But then again,
what happens is that when you participate in parliamentary politics is that your message get watered down over time.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example for this because there's probably tons out there. But I know a good one of this, actually, when Hillary Clinton used to be for quite progressive healthcare reform in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's just like, we should just do a few add-ons to Obamacare. We'll be fine, all right? Yeah, I'm wearing this check that, I don't know any private healthcare firms in the US, but just put one of their names on that check and there you go.
Well, the only reason I have healthcare is because because I'm under Medicare because of my Asperger's. But other than that, my mom wouldn't be able to afford it.
I mean, I'm surprised you even have it. I mean, you're in Texas. That's quite a red state, isn't it?
It is. It's really, and people are dying because a lot of states don't want to do the Medicare expansion.
Yeah, I mean, you could be worse. You could be living in Mississippi, which is the worst of all the states, I think.
I'm so glad I don't live in Mississippi, man. I'm so glad. I would not survive there with those Christians.
Oh, God. I don't think you live in the Bible Belt, do you? I think you're just outside it.
I live right next to Mexico, so I live next to the border.
Like El Paso or something?
No, actually further south, closer to the ocean.
Oh, right, I see. So I guess you're not part of the Bible Belt, so that's good. I think you're more part of the more progressive parts of Texas, which is the parts in the deep, deep south of Texas tend to be more progressive than the
Yeah, my part is Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, which is my part, and Austin are only two of the blue areas of Texas.
Yeah. Actually, in the UK, you reverse the colour, so blue is the right wing and red is the left wing, so-called. They're both right wing.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny, actually, because red in our country represents Labour. Blue represents the Conservatives, more commonly known as the Tories, right? You've probably heard that term before.
Yeah, they're basically the British version of conservatives.
Yeah. I live in quite a highly Labour-dominated area. Because, you know, if you look at the map of the election in 2015, you'll see like there's this, most of the south of England is really blue, right? There's not much red down there. But if you go up north, you'll see an area, most of Yorkshire, some of like Merseyside, Manchester, and even a bit south of Yorkshire where I live, is a big blob of red, right? If you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen the map. I did see the part where Scotland went to that Independence Party or something like that.
What they call the Scottish National Party, I believe.
Yeah, they had like almost every county in Scotland.
I think they got one. I think they missed two. I think one of them was missed in Edinburgh, I believe, which went to Labour. And I think
Almost every, I said.
no, there were three. I think Orkney and Shetland went to the Lib Dems. I think I might be wrong there, but hold on, I'll just get the map up so I know.
And the Lib Dems are basically wishy-washy, and then the Labour Party is just a poor excuse for a leftist party, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I'll give you the map so you can see what I was talking about. Because you'll see the big blob of red in the north of England, right? You'll see. And my area on there is red. It's part of the red blob, that's for sure. So I'm just going to give you a link, and I'll put it in the comments area on this Hangout. I'll just do that now. Bonk, there we go. It's on the Hangouts page, right?
I just see it right now.
All right. You just go onto the Hangouts page, and you'll see the links I gave you.
Oh, okay. Oh, on the Hangouts page.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was getting clear there. My mistake. Yeah, I think you found it.
In the chat.
Yeah. There's that Wikipedia link there. You can see it.
No, I don't see it.
Don't you?
It's under group chat.
Should be here.
No, I don't see it.
Is it not coming up?
Oh, apparently I don't see it.
All right.
I don't know how to use it, so don't worry about it.
All right. Well, never mind about it. I'll put the link in the comment section on the video then, shall I? All right. There you go. Oh, it didn't fucking work. Bollocks.
Well, in the anarchist scene, red and black is anarcho-commies and Cindy's. Orange is for mutualists. Gray is for agorists. Yellow is for not anarchist capitalists.
All right. I'm glad you said the not there. You saved us a lot of problems.
And then blue is for anarcho-transhumanism.
I don't even understand that. I really never understood it. I thought it was just something made up, but I don't even know if anyone actually believes in transhumanism or not.
There are, I actually found a few blogs for anarcho-transhumanism.
Have you?
Yeah, in fact, I found this one thing on Tumblr where it argues that if you don't have anarchism, transhumanism is basically going to be a horrible idea, a dangerous idea. That transhumanism needs anarchism.
Right.
Otherwise, we just get a technocracy and a horrible tyranny.
Technocracy. That's technocracy is a government owned by the smartest, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And basically, with technology, it could either be our biggest, give us the most freedoms, or it can be our biggest enslavers. It depends on the social relations behind it.
I was going to do a study on how we'd actually embrace the automation of jobs, you know. And I've seen three ways it could go, right? And I'll tell you those from least. I'll put the least likely first, then the most likely, and then the worst possible outcome. So these are the three scenarios. Now, the first one is that everyone gets a robot assigned to them. So you can send this robot to work in someone's business or whatever. So it's a capitalist kind of thing, but you really don't have to do any work. The idea is putting your robot to work in places, and you get a wage depending on how much that robot works. That's one way I see that we could embrace automation. Second way is which I think is the most likely, is that because there'll be less jobs available, the welfare state will have to grow. Because if it doesn't grow, you'll get to the third outcome where somehow the capitalist business manages to suppress the growth of the welfare state, and then you'll get revolution conditions.
That's what I want to happen. That's exactly what I want to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work though, that's the thing.
I don't know, because they're starting to have robot mall cops, and I don't know how to do insurrections against robot cops.
EMPs?
What are EMPs? Oh, electromagnetic
Yeah,
pulse.
right.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I guess some EMPs. There you go, job done.
And also, how do we deal with those military tanks? Because America, they have those MRAPs, which are basically like tanks on wheels, and they're made to withstand like IEDs and bombs.
I don't know. That's a thing you say. The problem with America is they've got a ridiculous military budget. Like their military budget's more than the rest of the world.
Yeah, more than the rest of the top 10 biggest spenders.
Not the rest of the world, sorry, but you know, it's like the rest of the world could barely double them. Maybe not even that. I'm not really sure. I'd have to find some statistics on that, but you know.
Yeah, it's only get a few capitalists rich. Yeah, I think I would try thermite, but from what I've heard, thermite doesn't really work on titanium.
No, it doesn't. I've seen Mythbusters.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I don't know how we're gonna be able to stop a tank if it goes down, and like, how do you stop a tank?
Tanks are prone to breaking down, I'll tell you. I mean, you can probably use anti-aircraft guns against them. That's a way.
But how do you get those?
Good question. I mean, we can get them somehow, maybe. I don't know. I mean, they got pretty shitty gun laws in your country, so you can probably get one.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. And can you spike Molotov cocktails with thermite?
I don't know. Never thought about it.
Because I thought about it, but I don't know if that will melt through the bottle. Like, if I put some gasoline here and then some thermite, would it actually be able to burn through the cop's shield?
I don't know about that.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Maybe. I mean, thermite doesn't ignite until you set it off, really. I mean, I've seen these like plant pots full of thermite because they say like ceramics a good way to contain it, but it's still not perfect or anything. But I'm still questioning the idea of thermite. I really don't think.
It's a Molotov cocktail with thermite added to it.
Yeah, I might just burn your hand off. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of hesitant.
Exactly. You're right to be hesitant about that one, my friend. You're right to be hesitant about it.
Unless you manage to get make one of the ones that only sets on fire on impact and not before you throw it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. But then again, will that work either?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody in Greece could help let us know, because I'm pretty sure they have a lot of experience with Molotovs in Greece.
Yeah, I guess so.
How come the Greece government haven't been overthrown yet?
Huh?
How come the Greek government hasn't been overthrown yet?
I don't know. Maybe because they're in the EU or something. Maybe Germany's giving them an aid or something. I don't really know.
Because the anarchists are very militant over there, to the point where they're being called terrorists by their own government, but Greece is still there. Yeah, they burned a bunch of offices and cars, but they're still there.
Right.
So, like the conspiracy fire revolutionary, I don't even remember what it was called. But there's a bunch of cells in Greece, and they're a lot of them are insurrectionaries, and a lot of them are syndicalists, but there's often a lot of clashes between them.
Right.
They had to write they basically have to write an article telling people to don't fight the other kind of anarchists. It's a pointless schism. Focus on the common enemies.
That's a good point. Yeah, it is pointless. It is pointless having feuds between mutualists and ancoms and maybe a green anarchist and maybe a few anarcho-pacifists and all that. It's pretty pointless having a feud between that because they all want the same end goal, really, don't they? And I mean, here's my idea of how anarchism could work. I see, like, well, each of these small communities of, say, 1,000 or whatever, I don't know.
Well, in my case, I advocate for like 150, but
yeah, I don't know if that's possible. Maybe I would try and go that small in places, but I wouldn't have that as the goal I'd strive for initially. I think 1,000's reasonable, so we'll just say 1,000 for now. And I see there could be like an anarcho-communist one here, maybe a mutualist one there, a green anarchist one up the road somewhere. You know, I could see that as being possible, but I mean, is that how you see it?
Oh, I could see you basically advocate for anarchism without adjectives.
Yeah, in a way, but you know, I still use the adjectives in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I get you.
Different types, like they wouldn't all be ancom, they wouldn't all be mutualists, they wouldn't all be green anarchists, or whatever.
Why?
There'd be all sorts of things in there.
Well, I identify as both an ancom and a green anarchist.
Yeah, okay, fair
And
enough.
because veganarchism is a form of green anarchism.
Oh, of course it is.
And I made a video where I combine it with social ecology.
Okay.
Do you think that's a good combination?
Yeah, I guess so.
Social veganism. Yeah, but I got a lot of views off that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
You've blown up recently.
I know that's because Abala CL made a video about me saying things that nobody had the guts to say.
I mean, he praises you for that, and then he rips you apart in another video he makes, what, a day later or something?
Yeah.
What's all about?
He rips me. And his comment section is disabled, so I can't just go on like, you strawmanning me.
Oh, what a pussy.
I know.
Don't censor us. Don't censor us. I know you're scared of our criticism, but don't worry, we'll try and be constructive with it.
Well, when you go vegan, you could do a response to him because I'm planning to do one to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good then, I guess. I mean, the idea of you're gonna go guns blazing like you did with Freely, or are you gonna go kind of, well, this is why I disagree with you, or this is why you're wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong. What's the way you're gonna take it on?
That's a good question. I'm still debating that because because some of what I've gotten, some of my audience kind of wants me to be a little more diplomatic, and then there's some people who I feel would like it better if I just rip them to shreds.
I think I'm too tolerant, you know.
Yeah, so I'm kind of.
I think I'm too tolerant when I deal with ANCAPs. You know, when I think you've watched my video about Anarchy Ball, and you know, I ripped his points in you one, but I didn't really rip him in you one. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do any personal attacks in that. Well, I wouldn't. That's not a smart thing to do. But you know, I feel like I could have been more aggressive in that video.
Yeah, because
I feel like I was on the defense more or less. I wanted to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wondering if I should be aggressive or just be more chill about it.
It's up to you, I guess.
Well, he is a capitalist, so I'm just gonna rip him.
He's a capitalist.
More democracy.
There you go. You're thinking now.
But what kind of wanker thinks that? Oh, go to like city council and just do some advocating. Just sit in city hall during city meetings and just talk and like who think like he actually thinks that's productive.
I'm waving a sign. Give me rights. Give me rights.
I know. Oh my God. Meanwhile, the ALF goes and breaks the law, and they're really brave and heroically save hundreds of thousands of animals, and yet they're not effective.
As long as they don't kill the animals like Peter does. Because fuck
They
Peter.
don't.
Fuck Peter.
They're against it. Actually, they go out of their way to avoid killing.
Oh, that's great.
Like they haven't killed anybody so far.
Wow. You know, that's very impressive, actually. If you could do, like, non-violent direct action is a great idea because, you know, violence can lead a lot of negative press to your direction if you're not careful.
Yeah, the only problem is there's still a huge debate because some people think damaging property is violence.
I don't think it is. I think it's only violence if you use it against people or animals, I think.
Yeah, but basically what the strategy is, you liberate the animals directly, and you also want to economically cripple the places that are torturing animals by breaking their property to the point they go bankrupt.
That's a good thing, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's
you can do
sabotage.
it in that way, then, you know, you're doing it for the animal rights. I mean, those animals have rights as well, you know. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And I feel like that's like that ideal because I feel like the animal rights militia goes too far and you kind of gets less productive and more counterproductive. And I feel the ALF is the right balance for right now.
Makes me almost wish people bombed like fracking plants and stuff to prevent them doing that because, you know, I mean, if you can do it without harming anyone, great.
Well, that's what the Earth Liberation Front would do.
Oh, fair enough then. Not me then.
Yeah, they're like the sister to like Animal Liberation Front, but I haven't heard much about them. But there are a few anarchists who try to shut down a Keystone pipeline.
Well, yeah, you'd want to shut that piece of shit down, don't you?
And the Earth Liberation Front is more known for like tree spiking and trying to keep trees from getting cut down.
Yeah, we had a discussion about tree spiking once, didn't we?
Yeah,
Totally.
I'm for it basically. So
yeah, fair enough. I agree with that too.
Yeah, so I also like the idea of anarcho-naturism. You ever heard of that one? Basically,
Naturism means to go naked.
Yeah, basically go naked.
I'm all in favor of going naked. All in favor of it. Because I don't understand. What's this idea of this social construct that we got to wear clothes? What is it about?
I know.
I just run out into the street with my dick and balls hanging out. I don't know why I can't do that.
It's called freedom.
Yeah, freedom, guys. Who cares? I don't care about your stigma. You can fuck off for all I care. I don't care. It's not affecting you, is it?
And one of the arguments they use,
people would say, "Oh, it's infringing on my religion because you're having gay marriage." It's like that.
Yeah, but everybody's born naked.
Exactly.
And also, one of the arguments they use is that you get to save a lot of resources because instead of making clothes, they could use it for more productive things besides making clothes that you don't need to wear.
Good point. There's a lot of clothes are made in like borderline slavery conditions, aren't they? I mean, many clothes in my country, the UK, for like Primark, Bon Marche, and I believe Georgian Asda, come from Bangladesh. Now, Bangladesh factories have actually never passed any safety evaluations at all. And I don't know if you've heard about that story of a Bangladeshi factory collapsing, killing over 1,000 people.
Yeah, Abala CL still. Oh, yeah, it is terrible. Abala CL says that basically he thinks that people should be happy to have sweatshops because they give more jobs.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I know you made that dumb argument. This is why I kind of want to rip him so bad.
Rip him, yeah, rip him apart. You should do it. You should rip the sweatshop argument apart because it's like that is no better than being jobless in that case. I mean, you stop working in borderline suicide-creating conditions. I mean, people are putting windows under the nets to catch people jumping out the fucking building. I mean, it's clearly not an appealing place to work at, is it now? I mean, they can and they will. They will employ people who are not very experienced with understanding how work is, right? And they'll put them in extremely long conditions, in terrible working conditions, with crap wages. That's what they'll
Yeah,
do. It's the most profitable that way. It's fucking ridiculous.
I know. And have you seen a BuzzFeed article of BuzzFeed defended sweatshops?
I've never looked at BuzzFeed for a while, actually, but you'll have to show me this.
Oh yeah, seriously, you have to check. I think if you look up BuzzFeed sweatshop, I think you could find it. And basically,
Right.
BuzzFeed wrote an article where they defend sweatshop. You
Well,
have
not,
economists.
like, I'd never defend sweatshops. I mean, people deserve respectable working conditions. You should be against slavery in all forms, really, shouldn't you? I mean, if you're
It's
against chattel slavery, you should be against wage slavery as well.
it's
That's just how it
called
goes.
it's called 8 arguments in support of sweatshop labor.
Oh, fucking hell, this is gonna be gold.
I can't wait. Let's see. I'll give you the arguments, and then you're gonna.
All right.
Oh, turn on. Oh, they have flash. Oh.
Okay, let's do this. I've got my hand here and I've got my face. I am ready to face bomb whenever you ask the first question, all right?
Well, actually, it seems like a lot of them involves actual videos,
All right.
so I might have to do it. Why? When I defend sweatshops, people ask me, "But would you want to work in a sweatshop?" No, of course not. But I would not. I would want to work even less to pull a rickshaw. In the hierarchy of jobs in poor countries, sweating at a sewing machine isn't the bottom. So basically, they're arguing that there's worse paying jobs, so the sweatshops aren't horrible.
I mean, there probably is worse paying jobs, like
Prostitution.
I think farming's quite a crap job over there, right? You know, picking cotton and all that, or that's more of an African thing, but whatever.
But actually, though, C4SS pointed it out in the Center for Stateless Society. They're one of the few free marketers who actually attack sweatshops, and their argument is that the farmers were driven out of their lands and thus were forced to work in the sweatshops. And they've been doing that since the Enclosure Acts.
I mean, initially during the Industrial Revolution, they did it over here, didn't they? Where capitalism swept over, and many people rebelled quite violently against it. Many of the peasants, they were strongly opposed to it. Then people had to, they had to use military to get people to work in the factories and get the kids into school.
You ever heard of the Enclosure Acts?
Yeah.
Basically, they had turned common land into the private property of few nobles.
Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah.
And then they had to work in a factory to survive. So basically, the only reason they have to work for this shit wages is because they're forced off their land and they need to make ends meet somehow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of arguments for capitalism ignores the actual conditions, what's actually going on.
Yeah, that's true. They are. I mean, many capitalists will point to places like Hong Kong to say, "Oh, look how successful capitalism is." I mean, this is free market capitalism, am I right? No, it wasn't. It was regulated capitalism. It was. But what about South Korea? I mean, compare South Korea with North Korea. I mean, look at that. No, South Korea was a command economy. Even know what command economy is? Well,
State capitalism.
sort of.
Oh, look, another quote that's goldest. My concern is not that there are too many sweatshops, but that there are too few.
Wow.
And basically, sweatshops help people get out of poverty.
No, they fucking don't.
You mean to say poverty?
It's the definition of poverty. Maybe they do, but I mean, is it worth that? I mean, poverty, what is it defined as? I don't really know. It depends. You can define words as whatever we want, really. I mean, you can just twist poverty to mean whatever definition you want it to mean, can't you? And you're twisting it, in this case, to mean what you want it to mean. So, it's much better for them to, instead of being homeless and living on the streets, it's much better for them to go into a factory where they're almost dying for every day of their fucking life, right?
And also, And also, they wouldn't have to work in sweatshops if there wasn't any imperialism. But then again, we wouldn't be so wealthy in the first world if there wasn't imperialism.
I don't care.
Like they often don't talk about imperialism.
Yeah, imperialism, that's another thing, isn't it?
And another thing is like I was bringing up supply and demand and how basic because of supply and demand. That nobody in Africa would get grain because as soon as the demand drops towards the supply, and in response it was like, but you don't understand capitalism because us rich capitalist country give Africa free aid.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But he's a cool. I found this article like a long time ago. I can't remember where I found it. Well, basically, it showed that actually we just giving them chump change to all money we stole from them.
Yeah, that's pretty true, actually. I mean,
And it actually goes break down the numbers. So basically, no, he's wrong. He doesn't. He's the one that doesn't understand capitalism and imperialism because you take out many more than you give Africa. So basically, the only reason why Canada, your country, Canada, America, and Britain are so rich is because we stole from Africa, and we're still doing that.
I mean, the reason the UK got so rich is because of the East India Company.
Yeah.
And then, you know, came a lot of rebellions. There was the, what's his name? Mahatma Gandhi and all that. And then Pakistan broke off from India, and then East Pakistan went to Bangladesh, and then Yahya Khan killed about, what was it, 3 million East Pakistanis or whatever?
There's this article. I don't remember where I found it. I know how I found it on the Anarchist Research Project, a cooperative.
Right.
But I had to find the actual article, but it's basically trying to calculate how many people capitalism killed.
Oh, wow.
From what I can tell, it's a lot.
I mean, people point to communism and say, oh my God, communism killed all these people. Look, there was Stalin, there was Mao, there was Pol Pot, there was, I don't know any others really, but they're the main ones, right?
So basically, I'm thinking if he brings that numbers up, all I have to do is to say, that's not what I'm advocating for, and then bring up the numbers for capitalism, and then basically we feed him on a spot.
I mean, there you go. Let's see some capitalist people who killed shitloads, shall we? Let's point to some of them right now. Let's see. Hitler. Yahya Khan, I pointed that one out before, didn't I?
The British Empire, what they did to Ireland and the starvation they caused in India.
They fucking destroyed India, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then there was the Free State, which was anything but free.
And
private property of Leopold.
And actually, India could have actually been really wealthy, but what happens is that the British deliberately try to stop factories from being at India, so it wouldn't cause competition. So literally, it's the British fault that India is so poor.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking hate my country, you know. I fucking hate it. I mean, these people blindly proud that we have the biggest empire in the world at one point. It's just fucking pathetic. Do you even know what happened there? Do you even know what fucking happened? Do you know about all the tons of people who were slaughtered in mass genocides and all that? Do you know?
You know, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I think that there's a lot of reparations the West owes. And even within America, we owe black people a lot of reparations and Native Americans.
Why are you getting hate for that?
I think I support.
What's his name? Andrew Johnson, I think. Was that his name?
Andrew Jackson?
Oh, it was one of those. I forget.
Yeah, he did the Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears. That was the where they basically slaughtered massive amounts of Native Americans, and then the other ones ran westwards into places like Oklahoma instead of living in Tennessee or whatever.
Yeah, so I think, and I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I should do a video why I support reparations.
Do it. I don't know why you get hate for that.
Well, people do because they're like, well, how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to tell give? How are you supposed to know how much to give to what people, and how are you supposed to administer that?
I mean, you'll have to give Latin America a lot for all the shit the Americans put them through.
And Africa, a lot of shit.
Not as much as I wouldn't say Africa's the worst of it, to be honest. I mean, Africa got some shit like Mugabe, didn't they?
They got slavery, and also, you know, the laptop and the electronics they use, they're often mined from minerals from the Congo, which is that same place which was that private property, and is often extracted with child labor and like labored as near slave-like conditions.
I mean, I know examples of slave labor. I mean, there's slave labor in Thailand. I think I've told you this before in the shrimp industry, right? That is nearly all slavery. I mean, there was a big leak on that, and then they revealed that people were known by numbers and not names, and that if people refused to work, they were violently beaten and stuff. This was all exposed in, I forget what video, but it happened, and wow.
And even in the vegan industry, there's still a lot of it going down, and they still call it cruelty-free, even though, like, for example, palm oil involves a lot of slave labor and environmental destruction.
A lot of products are made for slave labor. I mean, I've gone into an example, you know. I mean, you might know about ethical consumerism, right?
Yeah, I made a video about how that's a bad idea.
New one. I've ripped it a new one myself as well, because it's just a shit argument. I mean, suppose you have two companies, Company A and Company B. Company A uses slave labor in the manufacturing of their product. Company B doesn't. So because Company B has to treat their workers better, so they'll get better wages, or they'll get wages at all, like unlike the A, which are just, you know, coerced with force, right? So of course, Company B's products will be more expensive. So if you look at this, right, which one would you buy from? But they'd be trying to hide the slavery thing from you as much as possible, wouldn't they? They'd be trying as hard as possible. So most people will just go to Company A regardless, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people don't have money to buy ethical products.
I mean, there's three points on why ethical consumerism is a shit argument. And that's one of them, that you won't know because the media will be trying to suppress it. Two, you can only vote with your wallet if you have money in the first place. And the third one, I forgot the argument for now, but I made it in the video I ripped Anarchy Ball, a new one. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, I made that one too, about vegan consumerism. I wish that video got more views, because there's this YouTuber called the Vegan Cheetah who's promoting veganism as consumerism. And then that's how you get. I literally, like, that literally was cringeworthy for me.
Wow. All right, I remember the other arguments I made for going against ethical consumerism. Because you're never going to know what everyone's doing, right? I mean, I'm going to use the clip of Milton Friedman. I think you've seen it, the pencil clip.
Mm-hmm.
Where he says literally thousands of people collaborated to make this pencil. I mean, put that into more complex products. Put that into your phone. What goes into making that? How many people are actually involved in the production of that? Honestly. So somewhere along the line, there's going to be a bit of slavery in there, like it or not. It's going to happen. So sorry, your ethical consumerism argument is a pile of crap. Sorry. Try again next time. That's what I'll say.
It's so true. And so, yeah, that's the problem. And so at least with those extra subscribers, I can have more influence. But I don't have like 5,000 subs. I can actually influence.
I'd like to get a few more myself. I've got 53 right now.
Yeah, I got like 277, I think.
All right, is it stopped going up really fast now?
Yeah, I got 35 in that day, and then the next day I got like 15, and then
that kind of stopped.
It's slowed down a lot.
Oh,
but yeah, it's just. I mean, what kind of capitalist wankers? Let me see another argument they have for sweatshops. Oh,
here we
God.
go again. Oh, bring it on. Let's rip them a new one. I'm ready with a palm.
And let me look at a few of them and see. Oh, I already said that one. Okay, let's see.
All right, you got one.
I kind of need to see the video, but basically, it seems like they seem really cringeworthy. I mean, like seriously, you want more sweatshops? Why can't you just give workers control over the means of production and do lots of reparations to those workers?
Because you've got to feel for the poor business owners. I mean, business owners' lives matter, remember?
No, workers' life matters. Business owners, fuck them.
Fuck business owners. They don't do any work themselves, do they? They're
Yeah,
just sitting milking everyone else for profit. Great.
unfortunately, that includes my dad, so
No, it sucks.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My mom isn't, though. When she divorced, she gave up her half of the business.
Yeah, okay. That's a problem, you see. I've got a very working class family.
Mm-hmm.
Very working class. Like, I don't know where the closest business owner in my family tree is. I don't have a clue.
My dad used to work in a factory, and he also, before that, worked in the fields.
My dad was a driver. Granddad on my mum's side was a driver. The granddad on my dad's side was a miner, and
Mm-hmm.
he come from Newcastle, so he comes south to like Nottinghamshire because that's where all the coal wasn't. He like worked in the mines down at Hucknall.
Yeah. And then that one, South Texas, I feel like is a good place to organize people because there's all those people from Mexico who are heavily exploited, and if
Yeah,
you get them organized, you could potentially damage the economy and get to a nearly revolutionary situation.
right.
Because those migrant workers from Mexico, they get paid shit wages and they
Yeah,
work hours in the fields in the sun, and they're often scared to be told on that they're illegal, though nobody should be illegal.
uh-huh.
Yeah, so the conditions for a lot of undocumented is really bad.
Yeah, I can tell you that. It's like I think you come from a better off family than I did. I mean, my family's very strongly working class, like I said.
Hmm.
I got
Yeah.
I live in a small privately owned flat with my mum. It's pretty bad actually.
Yeah, and then he says that veganism is for everybody, and I'm like, you try really to say that because there's neo-fascists and neo-Nazis who want to be vegan. Do I really want to let them in?
I don't know.
I'd rather proceed to smashing your head in the pavement and letting neo-fascists in.
If you can't convince a fascist, I'll let you finish the sentence.
Smash your head in the pavement.
Close enough. Not how I'd say it, but you get the point.
Yeah. Have you heard the economy of national of Germany improved during the first few years of National Socialism? Is that an argument for Nazism?
It's a great argument, isn't it? See, Kyle!
Or the economy improved under slavery, so slavery should be legal.
Therefore, slavery.
It was horrible.
Well, the economy improved when serfs started giving money to the monarchs, so therefore.
Feudalism.
Yeah!
It's a horrible argument.
Much better than barbarism, isn't it now? For fuck's sake.
Personally, I think we need to stop economic growth in our part of the world.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't sustain infinite growth on a finite planet. That's just not possible.
And the problem is, if you stop growing, the whole economy just collapses into a sinkhole.
Yay! Rest in peace, capitalism.
But if it's anarcho-communism, nobody will even notice.
Yeah, I guess so. Because like infinite growth is not something they're interested in.
How do you calculate GDP in an atom society, anyways?
I don't know.
Because there's no money to measure goods and services, so how are you supposed to measure GDP?
I don't know, really. That's a question. I mean, one way we could just ignore that. We could look at other measurements of how prosperous nations are, like the HDI, I guess.
Yeah, but I think in anarchist Spain there was improvement in living conditions.
There was big improvement. I mean,
Can you link me that to the article?
This was great, as far as I know.
Because I'm going to do a response video and... Oh, sorry.
It's Spain, as far as I know.
Because I'm going to do a response video and I'm going to use Anarchist Spain as a case study of why anarchism combined with veganism can actually help end world hunger. Because I don't think... Was there any famine in Anarchist Spain? Because I know there was an increase in crop yields.
Don't know. I've never really researched that. But I know what you should do. All those grandiose claims made by Love, Life and Anarchy after he, says that these anarchists are all these middle class, people who have shit parenthoods and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should just, after all that, he makes like tons of grandiose claims about anarchist Catalonia, which I've seen no backing for whatsoever fucking ever, and I'd love to see someone just rip that apart.
I saw that on Wikipedia, but I can't find anymore. But basically, an ANCAP accuses of anarchists in Catalonia being totalitarianists.
Yeah, that's what he claimed. He claimed you either work for the collective or you starve. What?
What? That sounds like capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they use arguments to attack our position when they're supposed to be against theirs. I mean, they argue for our position without actually arguing for it. That's what I've noticed capitalists do all the time. Like the Milton Friedman example I gave before. That's a great example of right-wing libertarians arguing for left-wing libertarian ideals. Great.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, I think there was even from George Orwell's account, there was no racial poor. It was even in theory, it was complete equality, and in practice, it was not far from it, and that the working class was basically had no fear of the boss, and they actually had a hope, and you can't even tell there's distinct classes. It's all look like one class.
Like the class division disappeared to an extent that's almost unthinkable in the money-taking era of England.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that's what he said in the Homage to Catalonia.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
So much for anarchism being utopian. When it was actually tried, it actually worked better than Soviet.
Oh, suck on that, ANCAPs. Your society's never been tried. Unless we count Leopold's Free Congo state, which was a fucking disaster.
They also said that they also used, you know what examples they used for ANCAP societies?
Somalia.
That one, they also used Iceland, medieval Iceland, and the American Wild West.
No. A third island as well.
No,
third Ireland.
Yeah, I heard Ireland too.
Made a bunch of grandiose claims about Ireland being this libertarian utopia at one point, which is fucking bullshit. It was just tribalist, okay? Are we happy with that?
And the tribalists are actually more closely related to proper anarchists and ANCAPs.
Again, I kind of differ with that because tribes are just small groups of hierarchies where everyone's subservient to the chieftain.
That is true, but usually tribes they tend to be flatter. They don't have as much hierarchy. There is some, but it's a lot flatter.
Yeah, it's flat.
So like medieval Iceland and the Wild West. Is that the best you got, ANCAPs?
The proof of that. I've seen no evidence that Iceland or Ireland was this libertarian utopia. I've seen absolutely no evidence.
In the Wild West,
things on it, and as far as I could get out of it, it's just that Murray Rothbard made these claims about X, Y, Z. That's all. Couldn't find any proof behind it.
What do you think about the Wild West argument for ANCAP, Stan?
I don't know really about it, but I want to go a bit Ireland thing, right? I mean, when we're talking about like over 1,000 years ago, what did we actually know about Ireland back then? Nothing. So
And
how would you know this? You wouldn't. There's no evidence behind it. It's just dumb. Anyway, go on with your Wild West thing.
And in the Wild West, the officers don't tell you this, but they killed a lot of Native Americans and stole tons of land. So if you're arguing that we should steal land from people,
Very idea. Let's not.
I'm serious.
We're not the bad guys here.
Yeah. I mean, that's so much for your non-aggression principle.
What the fuck is the non-aggression principle? Seriously.
Like stealing Native American land. Oh wait, that violates the non-aggression principle. I'm sorry, Caps.
Because it violates the non-aggression principle. Yeah. For everything. It's fucking pathetic. And honestly, I mean, just because it doesn't follow your made-up rules about something, about your non-aggression principle, yeah, it's fucking dumb. Like, what enforces the non-aggression principle? What enforces it? Please tell me that.
Private courts, dispute resolution organizations.
Private courts, great.
Yeah.
The winner will be the one who pays them the most. Marvelous.
That's why they call it neo-feudalists.
What a fucking joke.
They're neo-feudalists. That's what you expect.
Yeah, exactly. I made a video about how anarcho-capitalists could protect their society and what it'd lead to. I don't know if you've seen that. It's called private police force. No, private security firms and their relation to statism.
Oh yeah, you did a good job on that one. You basically
that was one of my best videos, I think.
Yeah, you basically compared them to drug cartels.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? I compared them to drug cartels.
But the ANCAPs would be like, yeah, but drug cartels happen because of government. So which, like, really, that's the absence of all regulations. You're really gonna claim that ANCAP societies won't have regulations too? So what makes you think it'll be any different?
Well, the thing is, the drug cartels operate outside the laws set up by the state, don't they? They operate in the black market, a free market, right? The black market is a free market without any regulation whatsoever.
And actually, a lot of ANCAPs support agorism, so basically they try to overthrow the state through the black market.
Yeah, I'm not paying my taxes. Taxation is theft. Taxation is theft. Yeah, we
meanwhile,
theft, but you know, it's not.
Meanwhile, they see that rent is voluntary and not theft.
What is?
Basically, they say taxation is theft, but they don't say rent is theft.
Fucking hell.
I mean, seriously, ANCAPs, you up your game. Or better yet, stop being ANCAPs.
Yeah, anarcho-capitalism has got to be the dumbest ideology I've ever heard. Do you even know one dumber than that?
Well, there is one called neo-tribalism.
Neo-tribalism. What's that exactly?
And basically, they think people should live in tribes. That's the optimal form of how people should live in societies through tribes.
All right.
Well, no, the dumbest ideology so far is anarcho-primitivism. That's the dumbest.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll put a vote to it. Which is dumber, anarcho-primitivism or anarcho-capitalism?
I say anarcho-primitivism.
I'd say anarcho-capitalism, but that's just me.
I don't know, the Stone Ages sound really stupid.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, so does neo-feudalist slavery conditions, whatever the fuck. 15 million people being mutilated, having their fucking limbs chopped off and all that. Great idea.
But competition, they say.
My competition, my freedoms, my free market. Fucking hell.
What do you think about the idea of using free market anti-capitalism from C4SS to recruit them?
Well, that's basically mutualism, isn't it? Free market anti-capitalism.
Yeah, left-wing market anarchism.
That's another name for it. It's another name for mutualism. Well, you know what I said about mutualism. I don't know too much about it, do I? So, I'd have to do more research on mutualism to get the hang of it, I think.
Go for the Center. Actually, they have a YouTube channel for the Center of Stateless Society.
Right.
It's called C4 Says Feed 44.
Okay.
They have a lot of videos on mutualism. And
Okay.
actually, a lot of it's pretty interesting because in one moment they sound like ANCAPs, and the other moment they sound like leftists.
Weird.
It's like they were both.
Like, that's weird. How can you be both in a way? Because they both advocate for radically different ideas.
Trust me, they found a way to like somehow make them go together. It's weird.
All right, then. That's kind of strange.
I know, and that's because a lot of them were influenced by Rothbard, especially during the periods in the '60s where he kind of had an alliance with the New Left and they published some things together. Because there was a time with ANCAPs and the New Left had an alliance.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's one of the influences. They're also influenced by like Benjamin Tucker and Lysander Spooner
Oh, fuck.
and Proudhon. So those are their influences.
Okay, some of those people are complete fucking idiots. Others, I'll give Proudhon credit for some things he came up with, like property theft, and I agree with that, yeah. But
Benjamin Tucker.
Lysander Spooner, what the fuck, honestly?
What do you think with Lysander Spooner? Why is he stupid?
Because he's a capitalist.
But they call themselves socialists.
Is he?
Yeah, a lot of individuals, anarchists, are against capitalism, except for that one time they were like advocating for strike breakers. Then I wouldn't say that. But they did believe in the labor theory of value.
Okay, then that's strange, to be honest. I don't know what to say about individualism. It's a weird topic, to be honest. I don't really know about it too much.
And then there are people who are ancoms combined with egoists.
Right.
Like, did you know that anarcho-communism could actually be combined with egoism?
No.
Yeah, the people who've actually combined them.
Wow.
A lot of them are insurrectionary anarchists.
All right. I'm not that much of an insurrectionist. I think you know about that.
Yeah, I feel like I relate more to the insurrectionists. Maybe it's because I watch too much riot porn.
Okay, then.
I love riot porn, do you?
Love what?
Riot porn.
Where you just watch riots on YouTube or something and you wank off to them?
No, I don't whack off to them. Riot porn is basically like they watch people riot and smash police car and throw things at cops and things like that.
Lord, just do it.
Like my favorite news source is the Stimulator because I feel like it just wiles me up and I'm like, fuck yeah. And he's so casual, like, how the fuck are you?
Yeah, how the fuck are you? Well, this is what happened. Some fucking people here did some weird fucking shit. I mean, yeah, you just blurt out F-bombs. It just makes everything so much more funny than otherwise.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that too, but my dad doesn't like when I throw F-bombs.
No, I don't give a fuck.
Fuck that shit.
Throw F-bombs every fucking time I get the fucking chance to fucking do it. But anyway.
And then have you seen the Facebook page Still Laughing at Anarcho-Capitalism?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, a lot of ANCAPs shit posting that page.
Of course they do.
In the comments. It's so pointless, so funny.
Too much butt hurt, right? You attack my ideology. You don't know shit about capitalism. You're talking about corporatism.
Yeah. Didn't you debunk that argument?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I used to watch this guy named Sticks Hexenhammer. He's not ANCAP, but he supports the Libertarian Party. but I don't like him anymore ever since I became an ANCOM. He thinks anarchism leads to totalitarianism.
Give us that evidence, please.
I asked him that in my other channel during one of his live streams. I told him, would you subscribe to the vegan anarchist? And he was like, anarchism leads to totalitarianism. and he just, I don't really like to listen to him anymore because at times he kind of has a thing for the alt-right.
Well, that's a problem, I guess.
And he hates SJWs.
I've never really thought about that as an issue, to be honest. I don't even know why everyone makes such an issue about social justice warriors. Look, they're suppressing our freedom to speak and all that.
Well, the people who say that are reactionaries.
Except they're not suppressing your ability to speak. They're just countering your free speech with their free speech. Have you understood that yet?
And there's this dumbass Sargon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No.
I mean, social justice courses they're corrupting our youth. They're turning them into intellectual basket cases. That's what he said.
What is with the right and attacking college?
I have no idea. I really don't.
Like, shouldn't they be proud because a lot of economics professors are actually pro-capitalist, like almost all of them are, except for a few like Richard Wolff. They're pretty much capitalists.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. I mean, they'll come at me and say, you don't know anything about economics, do you, you fucking commie scum?
Then just point out Richard Wolff and tell him, this economist agrees with me, so you're stupid. I should probably go back and say, yeah, but you don't understand sociology.
Yeah, that's something, I guess.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Like, they worship economics, like literally. They're bullshit economics that nobody takes seriously. Even like capitalist professors don't take their Austrian crap seriously.
I don't think anyone does.
Except for Austrians. That's the only person who takes them seriously.
We don't take Austrians seriously. Those people are just downright idiotic.
Do you have any good articles on defending Marxian economics?
I haven't really looked for some. I can't really say so.
Because a lot of anarchists like to use Marxian economics.
Okay, I see.
And then I'm going to do a video response, but I kind of want to find something that I can use to defend Marxian economics. It's just because people like to slander it a lot.
That's true. I mean, people throw around the terms like cultural Marxist without having any idea what the actual shit it means.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make a troll video called Why I'm a Cultural Marxist.
Well, like when you made that video, why I'm a social justice warrior!
Yeah! Well, I think I am an SJW, but I'm an anarchist first, so.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Because but the problem is that a lot of people don't like identity politics.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. I mean, it seems to be a pretty lazy way to do things sometimes.
Yeah, but don't you think you can use intersectional analysis in an anarchist setting to make our revolution more effective?
Suppose so, I guess, but I mean, yeah, there are places that identity politics can work, but other times it's just like a cheap jab, I feel.
Oh yeah, like, oh, you're just a cis white dude. Your ideas don't matter. That is when it gets dumb.
Fuck them.
But when it gets like, oh, there's not enough women in this room, and would you let the women talk more and have a little bit more women because there's almost no women there? Then that's fine. I mean, that of course, why not?
I guess. I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of identity politics, but if you feel that way, fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like the idea.
Yeah, okay.
And then people find it divisive. My only problem with identity politics is it alienates the white middle class. That
Right.
same one that's going to Donald Trump.
Okay.
And that's a problem I see.
Yeah, a lot of sheep are lining up behind that moron.
And what I want to do is I'm okay with identity politics, but I feel like it needs to be anchored. It needs something, a base, and that base should be class struggle. Because if you just don't have the class struggle base, it's just gonna go all neoliberal on you and get
Yeah,
co-opted.
that's so true. You wouldn't want that, would you?
So and intersectional theory often includes like classes and aspect, but maybe I should have as the main aspect. So like instead of worrying about transgender rights, you only worry about working class or poor transgender people and focus on them.
Debatable again, I'd say. I mean, I would actually, I made a
Or anybody
video
in the
about.
working class, yeah.
I made a video on International Women's Day about how these days are just things spawned by bigotry, right? You remember that?
I wish I saw that one, but I haven't seen that one yet.
All right. I think it's called International Women's Day, My Analysis.
Yeah, I haven't watched the video. I did see
Yeah.
the video title.
Yeah, okay.
What were the gist of the video?
Yeah, you can watch it if you want.
Oh, okay. But yeah, a lot of, and then the problem is that a lot of feminism are turning to neoliberal bourgeois feminism, and they're using that to support Hillary, even though her policy literally destroyed the lives of women all over the place, like in Central America and in the Middle East.
They're probably just supporting Hillary, and I hate to say this is the reason why.
She's a
Because
woman.
she's a woman.
Yeah.
Fucking woman. Because she has a cunt there.
What about all those women who Hillary destroyed their lives?
Good question. No one gives a shit.
That's why it's bourgeois feminism. And then there are some people who are at the other side who are like, oh, first worlders don't have a revolutionary potential. And that so basically we're incapable of revolution. Even though in France during May 1968, they for a brief moment of time they toppled the government, nearly toppled the government, and the president had to leave the country.
I just wondered if there'll be any more questions, but sadly there's not.
Yeah, I think it's time to end the live stream. Nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
Although that 1 hour I got like 100 people watching it. It's like, wow.
Nice.
Ever since somebody made that video, so.
That's great.
But after that, my channel is just returning back to normal growth.
Okay. So how often are we going to do these Anarchist Brothels? Just curious.
I think Monday, I think. Depends. Because I'm going to have college, and I'm not as much when I have college.
All right. It's pretty awkward, because I'm at college right now and I have it on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday, I don't have it on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday's a good time. Well, I don't think you can do that, can you?
Well, because more I'm taking summer classes, and I have class Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
So I guess the weekend.
Right then.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, time to sign out. This is the Vegan Anarchist. No meat, no milk, no masters, Ancom.
See ya!
See ya. No gods, no masters, motherfucker.